Hey everyone, Yvonne S with What the Freak. You will likely be saying that by the end of this video, I'll tell you. And simply sharing a perspective, simply sharing my experience and what I received from my guides, my source, my God, my whatever you want to label, all the same thing. And I almost titled this video Triggered by Truth. And it's an interesting topic because a lot of dots connected for me, and coming from that place of being that person who was triggered by truth. Before I realized why, when I realized why I was triggered by truth, boy, did that open a can of worms and a Pandora's box. Because what's the truth? What is the truth? Well, for me, what I realize my truth is because I was in that internal prison from other people's perceptions of what's real and true and telling me what's real and true. And the level of hypocrisy is astonishing, because here I'm reading all these religious texts, right? And yet what I'm seeing wasn't jiving with what I was reading. You know, even certain scriptures that a lot of people use, we can see the truth amidst the lies when we stop allowing other people's perceptions and interpretations of what we're meant to see, what truth we're meant to receive, based on our spirit, based on our soul, our individual journey. And I realized this after I undid the lies and is open to the truth. Open to the truth, whatever it meant, good or bad. The reason that the truth is tricky and so interesting, and why I realized I was triggered by it, is because as a child, there was Instagram I saw where the mom was filming the dad and said, "Hey honey, would you still love me if I was fat?" And the kid in the background pipes up and says, "But mom, you are fat." What do we typically do in scenarios like that? What do we typically do when kids share their truth? Do we shut them down? Do we teach them not to speak their truth? That it's not polite? That it's not nice? They're simply sharing their truth based on what they've been taught, how to use words, how to communicate. And then we're shutting them down for speaking their truth and getting triggered by it. Is it because we don't want to hear it? Is it because we're choosing not to hear it and listen to it because it would make us aware of the choices we're making and where it's gotten us? The interesting thing is, this isn't faulting anyone. This is programming. Again, we're going back to the programming, the patterns. This is how I saw the program, is looking at the patterns that people are in and that I was in. Many. And it was coming through when I realized, and then also in my last video, I talk about our mistakes. We're punished for making mistakes. We're punished for speaking our truth. So what do we do as we become adults? We lie to ourselves, and we're taught to lie to other people, to be nice, and protect their what? Feelings? Why are we responsible for anybody else's feelings when it's our responsibility? What's interesting about our feelings is it's our power to create our reality. So how interesting is it that our feelings are being tiptoed around and shut down? Why? What's behind the curtain of why we feel stressed, why we are triggered by truth, why we tiptoe, we feel like we need to tiptoe around others' feelings and that we should and have to? That's impossible. It is not our job. It is our job to recognize reality as it is and own our truth like an adult. Now, again, it's not to be judgmental and criticizing about it either. And that is what I realized what happens. We're children. Now, mind you, these are patterns that have been going on for millennia. And we're shut down. We're told what to believe. We're told who to believe. Punished if not. How many fear tactics are used to try to get us to react out of fear, to conform to other people's interpretations of reality, of what we say reality is and means, and yet, and then our free will and power hijacked, our emotions shut down and disconnected from each other. Why? Well, the way I got here was by listening to others and connecting with them and discovering who they are, what their intentions were, and how it was revealed by boundaries and by speaking my truth of what I was seeing. It was gradual. It took time. I lost friends. I lost people I loved and care about because of it. So it's not easy. And this isn't to try, this is to simplify something so deeply ingrained. From my perspective and experience, I'm simply sharing to help others because I'm aware of how to create my reality. I'm desiring to help others learn to escape their internal prison so that they no longer have to feel so stressed and trapped in their life. And it's up to every individual whether they desire to do that or not. I'm simply providing information. I'm simply providing a perspective. I'm simply providing my experiences and my story because I see the patterns. And I see them on a microcosmic and a macrocosmic scale. And one of the interesting things that it led me to as I was reflecting on where this was coming from, why was this happening? And asking the question, what the freak? And wanting to know what made people the way they were. Because I know I was doing things to people and hurting people unintentionally, and yet I didn't know how or why I was doing it. And I'm listening to all these stories and all these other people telling me. And so I'm like, okay, oh, so I project. Oh, so I make excuses and justifications for myself. Oh, that's how it works. Oh, I'm not responsible for my feelings. And so everybody else has to do what I feel and think and believe the way I do before I will talk to them or before I will listen. And then, oh, I'm supposed to trust these people because they're in this position of authority. Tell me what's real and true and who has mental illness and who needs pills and all these things, what I can and can't have in my world, in my reality. Who I am, all these rules and mandates. And yet seeing the constant, like, children fighting in political freaking, just debates and stuff. It's like, we're choosing these people, and we have to, when they're no different or better than many other people I see. I know a lot better people that could do their job better because they're good people and they would actually do something to help others get better, be better, do better. Teach them how to create their reality because they know this stuff. And it's been hidden. Now, mind you, I desired to know the truth, remember? I wanted to know the truth, whatever it meant. Careful what you wish for. The etymology of the word government, Latin, guide the mind. We're letting them guide our minds and our perceptions, which is how we're manifesting and creating our reality. And we're letting other people's perceptions of us define who we are, which is what's shaping our reality and our showing up in our experiences through how we're feeling about ourselves, through our choices, which are affected by our feelings, which is interesting that we're kept in a state of fear and guilt and shame and judgment and expectation and obligation, which is keeping us in the lower vibrations and making us constricted and breathing shallow and dis-ease. And yet, overcoming those things as I was going through the Unlifted method and applying it, and also reading and studying and researching, and it was helping me connect dots and see things. And also me asking the question all the time, me wanting to know, because I know I found out how I'm creating my reality. I discovered how, and then the method gave me the how to unlock those stories and get the wisdom from the mistakes, from the history, from everything and everyone in my reality. And I started to see a common theme, a common story. We are one. And how we are treating ourselves is how we're treating others. Because we're unconsciously in patterns and unconsciously making mistakes and making choices that are not in our best interest because we have been taught and our mind has been guided as to what and how to make choices and how to use our language. Interesting that the education system is teaching us how to use our words, and yet it is our very words that is shaping our perception, which is creating our reality. And then you have religious leaders that have, and this is no judgment against any of them. It's who is the one guiding? Who is the one leading? And what is their behavior? Are they hypocrites? Or are they actually applying the principles, God's laws, the fruitages of the Spirit? Because it'll be revealed in their actions and choices. And that's how we'll know. And in their example, which is, right there in the text. Jesus said, follow me. He didn't say worship me. He said, follow me. Do what he's doing. He was not claiming to be different or better. He was humble. He was hanging with the unlettered and ordinary, the prostitutes, all the ones that the Pharisees were judging. Interesting. And our emotions and the disconnections that have been happening because we have listened to these authority figures tell us what to feel, what to think, what to believe, what's true, what's real. That's the ultimate definition of gaslighting. What are our experiences? What do we feel? What do we choose? because it's our choice. It's our free will, our divine right to feel, think, believe, choose whatever from that. I am. We are. And the programming is so deep and it's unfamiliar. And so it's scary, and we tend to, and we've been taught and programmed to be triggered by it. So when we hear someone speak the truth, we're scared of it. We don't want to hear. We feel shame. We feel guilt. We feel we worry about the judgment of the person sharing. Well, why? Because most of the time when we make mistakes, that's how we were taught. So we grow up doing it because that's how we were taught to do it. Maybe not everybody. I'm simply saying from narcissistic abuse, yeah, that's how it's taught. So believe, do what you choose. Just realize it's your choice. And kids are not being taught consequences to their actions anymore. And they're not being taught to be accountable and responsible, so that when they get older and become adults, they'll be in those habits. We've been made to be lazy. We've been made to be complacent so that they can just sit back and feed on us. We're their supply. Etymology of religion, to bind. We are beyond labels. I've said this before, and I will say it again and again and again, to hopefully reinforce and remind everyone who they really are beyond these things. What are all these texts saying? It really is simple. And that's what messes with people. The programming is so deep, yet applying the principles actually makes life easier and peaceful and less stressful and way more fun. Way more fun. I have so much fun with my friends. So much fun for my genuine, authentic, real friends that actually care about me and I them. And not the gaslighting love, the actual love, the genuine, authentic love that can be real with each other and yet share it in a loving way so that we're not so triggered by truth, because then we realize we're not going to get punished for it, for speaking it, for owning our mistakes and our stuff, and then getting guidance and support in doing something about it, as opposed to being punished and judged and told that that's not real or true for you. So, again, simply sharing what I received in my guidance, and in listening and learning to my source and to my inner voice, to my soul that's connected to source, the channel, the connection. And we all have it, and we're all part of it. So we're here to support anyone who wishes to attain it and give you a contextual field of what it feels like to be unconditionally loved, because it's powerful beyond words. It's freedom of the soul. It's escape and from addiction and compulsory things where we're not depriving ourselves. We're allowing ourselves to be our inner freak flag to fly and enjoying ourselves. It's being mindful of our choices and why we're making them. Why do I feel like I have to do this? Why do I feel like I have to do that? Why am I stressed? Why do I feel this way? And then discovering the truth of it, because it's usually from believing a lie that we were taught as children, and then we were shamed and punished and judged for making mistakes, and then we were afraid to speak our truth because we got in trouble for it. applying, having a support system that I have had is everything. And it freed my emotions. It freed my power to see what and how I'm creating and who I'm creating with. Because who we're surrounding ourselves with, billionaire mindset, you're the sum of the 5 people you surround yourself with. There's a reason it's called the billionaire mindset and not just the millionaire mindset. And the freedom and the peace alone is worth its weight in gold. So follow the freaks. Join the Freak Show. Go to our website at whatthefreakworld.com and become a member, and let's connect and share and see the value of the connection, see the power of connecting with each other and being there for each other. Because who we're listening to, who we're believing, everything we're doing is already creating our reality. Already. We can learn how to do it in a less stressful, more easier pathway, or we can overcomplicate the shit out of it, which we've been taught to do. And we can just keep doing that because of the arrogance, the pride, too lazy to do it, squandering our sexual energy, which is our creative power. Name the 7 deadly sins. They're not deadly because God's going to judge us for it. They're deadly because it's keeping us from accessing and being able to have that creative power to manifest what we choose, our life, what we want our life to be, and not based on some socially acceptable programming. So, thank you for joining, and I hope this benefited you. Because I'm here.